Hello friends, my name is Vivek Powar and today we are going to see about the subnetting. So let's start. Subnetting. By the name, if you think that subnetting is dividing the network, then yes, you are absolutely correct. Subnetting is the process of converting large network into smaller networks based on layer 3 IP. That is, we convert and divide our network into two or more subnets. What is it actually? Let's see. We know that computers have interaction among themselves through networks. If we take about 100 PCs, then speed is not a big concern. But if number of PCs are increased, suppose more than 10,000, then speed as well as security are big concern. In this case, subnetting helps. So why should we go for subnetting? So subnets are created to separate areas of your network for security and to hold down broadcast. It also helps to reduce the traffic on the single network by dividing it properly over different networks. So let's see an example. Suppose we have four parts of company's network 1, 2, 3 and 4. If it's a single network and if we want to send the message to part 2, then the traffic that will be going messages for part 2 will be more. Instead, if we go for subnetting and divide this network into two or more networks, then for 2 the message to be sent, it will be accept the network for subnet 2 and traffic will be reduced. In this way we can reduce the traffic. So now let's see how actually the subnetting is done. Consider a network of class C, that is 200.2.2.0. Here 200.2.2. represents the network part, whereas .0 represents the host part. So the number of hosts we will be getting for the respective network will be 2 raised to 8 minus 2, that is 254. Here the first IP address will be used as network ID and the last IP address will be used as directed broadcast address. So we reduce number 2 from the number of hosts. In this example, we have borrowed 2 bits from the host part to the network ID. So the starting bits for the given subnets are 00 for A, 01 for B, 10 for C and 11 for D. That is, we have divided the entire network into 4 subnets A, B, C and D. By doing this, we are getting a IP range, that is, for subnet A we will be getting IP range from 0 to 63. For subnet B we will be getting IP range from 64 to 127. For subnet C we will be getting IP range from 128 to 191, and for the last subnet, that is for subnet D, we will be getting IP range from 192 to 255. So as I explained that I have borrowed 2 bits from the host, so the number of subnets will be 2 raised to 2, that is 4. It means if we borrow n bits from the host, then the number of subnets formed will be 2 raised to n. The network ID is 200.2.2.0 for our network. The last host part can be divided into 8 bits, among which we have borrowed the 2 starting bits. These 2 bits represent the subnet ID and the remaining 6 bits represent the host ID. If there are all zeros in the host ID, then it will be the subnet ID, network ID for the respective subnet, and if there are all ones in the host ID, then it will be the directed broadcast address for the respective subnet. So for the above example, for subnet A, 200.2.2.0 will be the subnet network ID and 200.2.2.63 will be the directed broadcast address. For subnet B, the subnet network ID will be 200.2.2.64 and the directed broadcast address will be 200.2.2.127. Similarly, for subnet C, the subnet network ID will be 200.2.2.128 and the directed broadcast address will be 200.2.2.191. And for the last subnet D, The subnet network ID will be 200.2.2.192 and the directed broadcast address will be 200.2.2.255. But friends, here's a twist. Our network ID is 200.2.2.0 for the entire network, as well as it is the subnet network ID for the subnet A. In the same way, our directed broadcast address for the entire network is 200.2.255, which is the directed broadcast address for the last subnet D also. So it creates the ambiguity. So its solution depends on the position of user. If the user is inside the network, then 200.2.2.0 will be the subnet network ID for subnet A, and 200.2.2.255 will be the directed broadcast address for subnet D. If the user is anywhere outside the network, then 200.2.2.0 will be the network ID for the entire network, and 200.2.2.255 will be the directed broadcast address for the entire network. So here's a configuration with an external router and an internal router. The internal router is connected to 4 subnets with interfaces A, B, C and D, and an interface E to connect the internal router to the external router. So when message is sent to some destination in given network, there must be some interface to reach the required destination. So this is done by subnet mask. Subnet mask is a 32-bit long address which is used to distinguish between network address and host address. It's a mask, that is, it is used to identify the subnet to which the given IP address belongs. There are all ones in the network ID and subnet ID, and all zeros in the host ID for the subnet mask. Thus, for the above example, the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.192. Here it is represented in binary numbers, and the first 2 bits of the host are borrowed by network ID. That is, these 2 bits we have borrowed to create the subnetting. The network ID for given IP address can be found by using AND operation between IP address and the subnet mask. So if a message of particular IP address is to be sent to some destination, then we can use the subnet mask to identify to which network it should be destined. That is, for example, if packet has destination in the above example 200.2.2.130, then its network ID will be 255.255.255.192 and operation 200.2.2.130. So this gives the required network ID for this destination address, that is 200.2.2.128. We have represented the subnet mask and the IP addresses in the binary number. So here's the subnet mask helps us to destine our packet. In this configuration, the router is connected to 4 subnets, but router also decides where to give the path for the incoming message. So this is done by the routing table inside the router. The routing table determines to which network the incoming package must be sent. It consists of network ID, subnet mask and interfaces. The routing table has last entry 0.0.0.0, which will be the default entry. It means if a packet with IP address which does not belong to any of the subnet in the network is entering in the network, then this packet is thrown outside the network. Thus, because of this use, the default entry is used. It was about how exactly the subnetting is done. So now we will go to advantages of the subnetting. So subnetting breaks large networks into smaller networks, and smaller networks are easier to manage. Also, it reduces the network traffic by removing collision and broadcast traffic that overall improves the performance. Thus, the speed of the network can increase somehow. Subnetting also allows us to apply network security policies at the interconnection between the subnets. It allows us to save money by reducing the requirement for the IP range. But subnetting also has a disadvantage, that is wastage of IP addresses. In the above example, for each subnet we have wasted 2 IP addresses, that is for total subnetting we have wasted 8 IP addresses. So wastage of IP address is a disadvantage for the subnetting. So friends, here it was about the subnetting. If you find the video helpful, then please like the video and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you.